the evidence of the Red Fairy race from Kilmasan near to the hill of Tara. One of many accounts collected by W.Y. Evans-Wentz, all of which will be presented here at Ancient Mystery. Let us begin. John Boylin, born in County Meath about 60 years ago, will be our witness from Kilmasan, a village around 2 miles away from Tara. And he, being one of the men of the vicinity who was the best informed about its folklore, is able to offer testimony of a very great value. The Fairy Tribes. There is said to be a whole tribe of little red men living in Glen Odder, between Ringlestown and Tara, and on long evenings they have been heard. There are other breeds of fairies, or castes of fairies, and it seems to me, when I recall the ancient traditions, that some of these fairies are of the Furbolgs, some of the Tuatha De Danann, and some of the Malaysians. All of them seem to have been serenading round the western slope of Tara, and they were dressed in ancient Irish costumes. Unlike the little red men, these fairy races are warlike and given to making invasions. Long processions of them have been seen going round the king's chair, on which the kings of Tara are said to have been crowned, and they then would appear like soldiers of ancient Ireland in review. The Fairy Procession. We were told, as children, that, as soon as night fell, the fairies from Rath Ringlestown would form in a procession across Tara Road, pass around certain bushes which have not been disturbed for ages, and join the Gankina, or host of industrious folk, the Red Fairies. We were afraid, and our nurses always brought us home before the advent of the fairy procession. One of the passes used by this procession happened to be between 2 mud wall houses, and it is said that a man went out of one of these houses at the wrong time. For when he was found dead, it was said that the fairies had taken him because he interfered with their procession. Death by cutting fairy bushes. A man named Kaffney cut as fuel to boil his pot of potatoes some of these undisturbed bushes round which the fairies pass. When he put the wood under the pot, it spat fire, and fire sparkles would come out of it. It would not burn. The man pined away gradually, meaning that he suffered mental and physical decline. Interestingly enough, this would be how Oliver Cromwell died. So the man pined away gradually. On the 6th month after cutting the fairy bushes, he was found dead. But just before he died, he told his experiences with the wood to his brother, and his brother told me. The fairies are the dead. According to the local belief, fairies are the spirits of the departed. Tradition says that Hugh O'Neill, in the 16th century, after his march to the south, encamped his army on the rath or fort of Ringlestown in order to be assisted by the spirits of the mighty dead. What would be the difference between Hugh O'Neill and St. Patrick? It is also believed that Gerald Fitzgerald has been seen coming out of the hill of Molly Ellen in County Louth, seen leading his horse and dressed in the old Irish costume with a breastplate, spear and war outfit. Fairy possession. A Rose Carol was possessed by a fairy spirit. It is known that her father held communion with evil spirits, and it appears that they often assisted him. The Carol's house was built at the end of the fairy fort. The house was created from the stones of this fort. Rose grew so peculiar that her parents locked her away. After 2 years, she was able to shake off the fairy possession by being taken to Father Robinson's sisters, and then to an old witch in Drogheda. It would appear that the former was unsuccessful, and the definition of hag is priestess. These first two accounts came from people who survived the potato famine. The word gangkina, gang, band or group, kina is a Malay word to describe somebody who is on the receiving end of something unpleasant, and it can also mean the person is suffering or afflicted by something. On the other hand, the Welsh meaning of kina is great champion. The fairy bushes would be the hawthorn or the ash tree. The original Glastonbury hawthorn was cut down and burnt as a relic of superstition during the English Civil War, and one planted on Weirial Hill in 1951 to replace it was also vandalized and had its branches cut off in 2010. I do wonder how those vandals are doing. A wee bit of history may be related to the bushes of the fairies. Drogheda was attacked by Oliver Cromwell from the 3rd of September until the 11th, the eve of Tahoot and his month of martyrdom. The schools went back on September 3rd, and Cromwell died on September 3rd, 1658, at age 59, and this may relate to the curse of the bushes. Cromwell's death was due to complications relating to a form of malaria and kidney stone disease. Was he cursed by the fairies or martyred by his own? The potato famine. Potatoes were banned from large-scale cultivation because the rules allowed only grain to be planted in open fields. The people feared that it was poisonous and distrusted the plant, which is nicknamed the Devil's Apples, that grew underground. In fact, the people were correct. On one hand, the potato is a good food source. On the other, it destroys the land. The devil's apples. When the empire gives, know that its intention is to take. They use the term, the inevitability of gradualness. Tick-tock, tick-tock.